Baseball season's almost over, but college football is almost here. Do I think Washington can win it all? Or is this the year Michigan finally does it? Or is Alabama just that unbeatable? Listen to all this and more on a brand new Downright Sports kickoff show. This is Season 3 Downright Sports, only on YouTube. Hello everybody, I am without a doubt your host. If you've never seen the show before, it's your first time watching, don't be alarmed, don't be worried that you're missing anything, because nobody else watches. It's all good. But welcome to another season of Downright Sports. I'm Brent Reed. This is a big day. If you of course you're watching this on YouTube, if you're looking at it on Facebook, if you're clipping it on Twitter, if you're clipping watching little clips on Instagram, it's a lot of show today. 2 shows, 2 different topics, mind blown. And we start today. Today we're going to talk college football, man. If you can't tell, we're going to dive into it. But we start every show with it's no longer the must-know news. It's now just the news. And what is going on in the news today? I'm glad you asked. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott finds out his fate from the NFL, whether or not he will be allowed to play or sit. For how long, we don't know. Elliott got into some trouble last year, hanging out of somewhere, Mardi Gras or something. He pulled the young lady's top up. Yes, inappropriate, can't be done anymore, fellas, especially with cameras everywhere. And then this past year, he was hanging out at a bar and got into a fight with a guy. Dude, you're a running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Understand what that means. Understand what names come with that pedigree. Shut up, go home, and chill out. All right? This is not the NFL of yesteryear. You will miss time. Time missed means money missed. Money missed means games missed. Games mean I got tongue-tied there. Games missed means wins or losses. For me being a Giants fan, I hope he gets suspended for the whole year. But hey, it makes for a bad show if he doesn't. So go for it. The other news going on, the Knicks and the Houston Rockets, what are they doing? They're talking again. Why? Because the topic of everybody's conversation, Carmelo Anthony. No secret, Phil Jackson spent an entire year trying to get rid of Carmelo Anthony, and he didn't. And what ended up happening was the Knicks got rid of Phil Jackson. Now Carmelo, with no Phil, still wants to go to Houston so he can team up with his good buddy Chris Paul and James Harden so they can be best of friends and play basketball. Yeah, the game of basketball is sad. I cannot wait for my NBA preview show to come in late September, where I bury, crucify, and destroy the NBA and how soft it has become and how sissified these guys are. But I digress. That's what's going on. It's 3 teams. The Houston's trying to get a 3rd team involved so that they can find a way to make sure that the Knicks get nothing in return as they give up Carmelo Anthony. I already see the trade happening right now. The Knicks trade Carmelo to Houston. Then the Knicks get 4 players that are no longer in the league, including Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, and Tracy McGrady, and the bones of the late, great Moses Malone. And that will be who the Knicks pick up, because that's what the Knicks do. And then finally, Leonard Fournette, new running back to the NFL, drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars, once played for LSU, the standout, the young man who said he's not going to stress himself out too much because he wants to save himself for the NFL, apparently thinks the NFL is too slow for him after 1 preseason game. Mr. Fournette, if you happen to see this show, thank you for watching. But know this, I've never played in the NFL. I'm going to probably say it's not slow. And you opened your mouth after 1 preseason game, and now you release the floodgates. You play for Jacksonville, who hasn't won nothing, who could take me and 4 of my friends and maybe have a winning season. And you now have released the floodgates on yourself, and have mercy on you. I wish you the best, and Lord have mercy on your soul. All right, when we come back, we're going to the topic, college football this coming season. It's going to be electrifying. Who do I choose to go to the national championship? I don't know. This is Downright Sports. All right, we're back. I hope you enjoyed the fun facts. I know I do. It's something new. I'm trying. Again, this is down show primarily about sports. If you know me, and most of the people watching the show know me, I have another show. I have a podcast. The podcast is more other stuff going on, where the Downright Sports, the YouTube show, is strictly just a sports show, unless something big happens where you have to cover it. But for the most part, it's a show about sports from a fan's perspective. No, I am not a journalist. No, I'm not I'm an ex-player. I played baseball up until college. But it's a fan's show. It's a show from a fan's perspective. Do not attack me if something wasn't accurately right. I do a lot of work and do a lot of research on some of the stuff I speak on. But for the most part, it's what a fan thinks, because that's what sports needs. What fans think. We pay, we watch, we should have an opinion. Thanks to Twitter and social media and all those other outlets, we all do, because there are plenty of shows out there like mine. But anyway, let's go. Let's hit it on today. The topic today, without a doubt, is college football. We're doing a college football preview show, man, because college football is around the corner. Last year was a crazy year. Outside of Alabama doing what Alabama does, it was all over the place. It was uncertainty in some areas. Who should be in? Who shouldn't be in? Who deserved to be in? Is it fair that some teams didn't get in? Why did that team get in? I'm just talking now, but that's what happened last year, man. Last year we had situations where teams might have deserved to be in. Teams like Penn State, teams maybe like Wisconsin, teams like I never think Oklahoma deserves to be in, but teams like a Washington, I thought should have made it, should have been in, should have made it to the dance, versus the Ohio State, who didn't even win their conference. They lost. Well, they lost to the team that eventually won the conference. But if we can argue day and night if the structure of the playoff structure is flawed, I think it's great, because it brings for chaos, and anytime chaos is involved, this guy enjoys it, believe me. Real quick, we're not going to go down the list, but last year, the teams, most notably, when the year started last year, because we're going to talk about the top 25, Alabama, Florida State, Ohio State, USC, Clemson, Penn State, Oklahoma, Washington, Wisconsin, Oklahoma State, Auburn, LSU, Michigan, Florida, Stanford, Miami, Georgia, LSU, Kansas State, Texas, South Florida, Virginia Tech, TCU, Washington State, and West Virginia. That was the top 25 preseason poll last year. That was the preseason poll of last year. I could tell you a lot of those teams didn't finish the year where they were judged at. We're focused on the teams that made it. Clemson had a fantastic year last year. Clemson, who was the 5th team, finished. They won a national championship, having a rematch against Alabama, shocking the world. Nobody beats the all-powerful Alabama, but they did in spectacular fashion. You had situations where Ohio State, which everybody fought and said needed to be in the playoffs, and I said shouldn't. I thought either Penn State should have been in, because number one, Penn State won its conference, the same conference Ohio State's in, and Penn State beat Ohio State. If you're saying that Ohio State is that much better, and Penn State beats them, it wasn't like an upset, like Penn State was like a 1-10 team. Penn State went on to win the conference. Penn State should have won it. Nobody represented the Pac-12 last year. Oh, yeah, they did. Washington, but Washington played Alabama and got slacked. With that being said, I think this year that could be different. We'll touch on that in a second. But last year was just so chaotic because the teams that always, it's like Michigan, for example. Michigan, a lot of people thought would have won. Unfortunately, Michigan lost 3 games. And, it's kind of, Ohio State was one of them. And Jim Harbaugh kind of does that. He has those brain fart type moments where you're like, Harbaugh's got it, and it happens. This year, the $1 million question is, who makes it this year? Who cracks that glass ceiling? Who wins it all? And I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to tell you. I believe this year the teams you need to watch for, and I'm not saying these teams are going to make the playoffs, but I think these are the teams you need to watch for. Alabama, Michigan, Penn State, and Washington. I feel like Michigan and Washington will play in the national championship this year. This is the year Jim Harbaugh brings it home. This is the year Jim Harbaugh puts it all together. If you kind of look at his schedule, it's not the toughest schedule. He plays Florida, beatable. He plays Purdue, beatable. Plays Michigan State. That's going to be a rivalry game, but that's doable. The games that are going to be make or break this year for him is October 21st when he plays Penn State. That game, to me, could be the deciding factor of who goes to the conference championship. And then, ultimately, how that plays out, who goes to the playoffs. And then, of course, he plays Ohio State at the end of the year. This is the year they finally beat Ohio State. They have not beat Ohio State since, like, 1999 or some wildness like that. This is it. This year, they beat them. Last year, they almost beat them. This year, they do beat them. And I think they beat him convincingly because last year he had the number 2 ranked defense in all of college football. Defense wins, and all he has to do is put an offense together, man. And the guy knows something. I think he could do it. He had a great offensive team in Stanford. He was pretty good with offenses in San Francisco. But in college football, defense is good, but offense is better. And all he needs to do this year is just score 35 points, and I think he can do it. I think he can win. Penn State, another team on my focus. Their schedule, not that tough. That could keep them out. But if they win, when you're ranked, all you have to do is just win and you stay in. And currently this year, I didn't touch on it, but Penn State, I lost my list. Penn State, I had it written. Maybe I didn't. I thought I wrote this down. Oh well. Not a problem. Show blunder. It's all good. Anyway, Penn State this year will face their toughest opponents are going to be nobody. They do have Ohio State after the now here's where things get kind of crazy and sexy, and I have no idea what I do with this list. But Penn State this year will face Ohio State the week after they face Michigan. That could be tough for them because they're playing Michigan at home, but Ohio State on the road, and Ohio State's, of course, going to be looking for vengeance, drooling for blood. And the million-dollar question for them is, how do they take this? Because in 3 games, it's Michigan. Well, I'm not going to look past Northwestern, because Northwestern's been decent. Northwestern, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State. That easily could be 4 losses for them. Or they easily could go 1-3 or 2-2. And that there could knock them out. Or they shock the world. If they go 3-1, I think they have a shot. They have a better chance of beating Ohio State again and Michigan State again than Michigan, since I'm picking Michigan to go to the championship, so I can't speak against that. But I found the list. Penn State is ranked 6th this year. If they can win, like I said, if they finish, they can survive what I call the gauntlet right there. They make the playoffs. They make some noise. If they go 2-2, that's it. Because the rest of their schedule is sad. It's just pathetic. They play like Georgia State, the 3rd game of the year. Come on, you gotta do better than that. And then, of course, my other team is the mighty Alabama. Bama! Ah! I don't know why I did that. Bama, of course, this year is ranked 1st. Aren't they every year? That's what you're asking me. Bama's got their quarterback. Jalen Hurts is returning. The young man's a flat-out stud. He can do both dual threats. He can throw it. He can run it. That is pretty good, especially in a Nick Saban offense. Now, the question is, Saban for the last 2 years had Lane Kiffin as his offensive coordinator, and of course, we know he didn't like Lane Kiffin because Lane Kiffin kept wearing his underwear. So this year, he's got a new offensive coordinator, and the million-dollar question is, can they keep it going? We're not going to question if Alabama's going to stomp everybody, but their first test is week 1, and in week 1, they face Florida State, who is ranked 3rd this year, and Florida State last year just missed the playoffs, as Florida State last year finished Florida, they finished in the top 10 still last year, and Florida, that's going to be their biggest test on the opening week. After that, they play nobody. Their next big challenge again would probably be Texas A&M or Arkansas or Tennessee, because those are conference games. LSU is always a tough game for them, but their path to the championship is one. Like, they don't have another rank after Florida State, if I'm not mistaken. The next ranked team is, if it stays the way it is, their next ranked team is LSU, which is in November, and after that is Auburn, which is the end of the season. So they have a realistic shot at just tiptoeing back into the championship game. But because I think their schedule's so light and easy, when they face Michigan beats them. I'm calling it. Finally, my team of destiny are Washington, the University of Washington Huskies. These guys last year flat out were spectacular. I'm not going to go through the numbers because I've already went past my time. But, it's my show. I go all as long as I want. But the whole point of the show is supposed to be a 15-minute show of facts, sports, and fun. Anyway, Washington last year was number 1 in offense and defense in the Pac-12. They were the best, no doubt, in the entire NCAA. They were number 3 in offense, number 8 in defense, and really lost no one since they still got their quarterback, a lot of defensive players. Those boys are still balling out. So in any case, this year, I think they got a real shot running through the Pac-12 again. They, unfortunately, their conference is not that heavy as far as ranked teams go. For them, they have a fight with Destin. They don't have any real out-of-conference schedule, but they do face Oregon State, who's ranked 11th. They do face Stanford, who's ranked 12th. They do face, and that's it. Oregon not ranked this year. Cal not ranked this year. UCLA not ranked this year. Well, that could all change, but currently not ranked this year. So their biggest foes would be Oregon State, which is kind of an early season game. They play them September 30th, and then they face Stanford in November. All they have to do is beat those two teams, win the rest of their conference, have no fart hiccup games like against like a Fresno State or Colorado, who was actually pretty decent last year, and they're in. Win and you're in. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Win and you're in. This year, Washington is ranked 7th because Clemson plays in a tough conference. Clemson is going to be tough for Clemson this year, man. Sorry, Jesse, if you're watching, but Clemson's going to have a tough time because they got to face a Florida State. They got to face a good Virginia Tech and a very good Georgia Tech team. So it's going to be tougher for them. They don't face USC this year, but USC is going to fall out because they always have these brain fart games. Washington easily could finish in the top 4. Easy. So my picks for the championship this year clearly are Washington versus Michigan. Big Blue can win this year. That's who I got winning it all. He wins a championship finally. Now when he sits at the table with his brother, he can wear a ring too and put a trophy. Granted, his brother's got the big boy trophy, and he doesn't. But hey. Them the breaks, Charlie. Anyway, when we come back, music, movies, and video games. This is going to be a short one, though, because I'm running over a lot of time. Hey, Downright Sports. Hey, my favorite segment, movies and video games. This won't be the fastest one. The last segment went way longer than expected. I plan to show up every day. I got a script. I got a rundown right here on the computer. I knock everything out. I watch it, and I pay no attention to anything I do. So, anyway, I want to make a quick thought from the last segment. I do think this year, maybe because there's 2 people that I think are really cool that like this team, shout out to OK Projects, that I think Virginia Tech this year will finish in the top 10, making some conversation, shaking the tree a little bit to knocking on that door. I think Tech is better than what we give them credit for. I don't have this schedule pulled up. This is just all on gut instinct. And I got a betting interest. I got a rooting interest because the kid I used to coach plays there, TJ Jackson, or down. And Yeah, that's what I think. Anyway, used to be a fun game we used to all play called NCAA college football that is no longer around anymore through the lawsuits and likenesses and blah, 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 blah. Now that that dust has settled a little bit and all those guys that kind of cried and complained are gone, I think EA Sports or 2K or somebody should bring back college football, college basketball also. It was fun. It was exciting. You could easily make a college football game, video game, and it doesn't have to has to look like or represent anybody that's currently on any college roster. Number one, only people you have to pay and worry about are the universities. Number two, you can put anybody on the team. You can make them look like anything. Number three, if, and nobody take this upset, if there is an offensive lineman who happens to be a white or a Samoan or a Hawaiian or a black guy, guess what, dude? That's life. They want to make them aliens on the team? Stop it, all right? I want everybody to get paid like the next person, but look, stop looking for the free paydays. You took away a joy of mine, which was playing the NCAA college football team, playing as a university in Miami, winning because that's not what they do anymore, and drafting the guys I had to Madden. How great was that? Can't do it now because some jackwad decided to, I want to sue because it didn't have my likeness. It didn't have your name. I can find an avatar with a fat black guy with a hat on back with likeness anywhere. Breaking news, Ezekiel Elliott was suspended for the first 6 games of the NFL season. Hot dog, I'm glad I did this show live. We just got breaking news. Woo! Where we have more details? Never, because I'm not going to stay on it. But Elliott suspended 6 games. Good God almighty, that's a lot of games, man. Anyway, thank you for watching another show, the new show, the season's back. We're going to have some fun this year, man. We're going to be zany. Just go crazy. That's what we're going to do. Go crazy. 6 game suspension. Good God. Did he deflate a football? He did pull a girl's top off. That was wrong. Anyway, we're going to have some fun this year. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching. Shout out to my man DJ Chase. Shout out to M2G Mike Mint for the music. Shout out to everybody else. Big shout out to the Tech guys. We may have a show live from Virginia Tech when Miami plays them this year. That's about to fall. Big shout out to my man Tim Woodson, who does a lot of research for our upcoming football show. And then if you like this one, watch the other one because we got a boxing special. All right, I'm Brent Reed. Money Penny.